All right, this is part 2 of section 5.4. Here we're looking at the division algorithm. This right here is what we're looking at. So we have our f of x. Now d of x is what we call the divisor. F of x is what we call the dividend. Q of x is what we call the quotient. And r of x is what we call the remainder. So if you have the divisor times the quotient and then add the remainder, that will give you the dividend. So let's look at one that we have already solved, and we'll label, let's look at this one. We're going to label these as, let me get rid of this right here real quick. Okay, so inside here, that is the dividend. This is what we call the divisor. This is what we call the quotient. And at the very end, we had a remainder of 273. So this is the remainder. Okay, now what we do is we take the divisor times the quotient and then add the remainder. Okay, so the divisor times the quotient. So we would have x minus 5 times x squared minus 9x plus 55, and then plus the remainder. This should be equal to the dividend. That was off just a little bit. But these should be equal to each other. So if we factor this out, these two things should be the same thing. So that could be a check to make sure that you do have the correct answer right here. Okay, now find the quotient and the remainder using long division for this right here. Okay, so here we go. We've got 3x squared plus 23x plus 14, 210. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to make these two look the same. So 3x, and then we're going to 3x times 7 is 21x, and 3x squared. Then we'll change the signs. That will become a negative. That will become negative. Goes away, and that will be 2x. Bring down the 14. Get these two the same, so plus 2. Okay, so then that will be 14 and 2x. Change the signs. This will be negative. This will be negative. That all goes away, so I have a remainder of 0. Okay, so what I can do is I can take x plus 7 times 3x plus 2 plus my 0, my remainder. And I'm going to see if this right here is equal to what's inside the dividend. Okay, so I'm going to take x times 3x and times 2. So that's going to be 3x squared plus 2x. And then take this positive 7 times 3x and times 2x. So that's going to be plus 21x and plus 14. So 3x squared plus 23x plus 14, which, hey, that is exactly the same thing. So my final answer of 3x plus 2, that would be my final answer. And we know that's true because these two things came out to be the same thing. Okay, so what's my quotient and what's my remainder? That's the question that they're asking. So let's get rid of all this. Okay, so my quotient is this right here. This is my quotient. And this right here is my remainder. Remember, you take the quotient times the divisor plus the remainder. That will give you the dividend. Okay, let's look at this one. So we've got 6x squared minus 25x minus 25, and this is 6x plus 5. Looks like I just need to multiply that times x. Okay, so that'll be 5x and 6x squared. Change the signs. Goes away. Negative 30x, bring this down, minus 25. Looks like I need to multiply that times a negative 5. Okay, so that will be a negative 25. This will be a negative 30x. Change the signs. Okay, that's 0 again. So if we take x minus 5 times 6x plus 5 plus 0, that should come out to be our dividend. So 6x squared plus 5x minus 30x minus 25 plus that 0, so I'm not going to add it. 6x squared minus 25x minus 25, which, hey, that's the same thing as this. So I'm confident in my answer of x minus 5. So my quotient is this right here. Here's my quotient. And here's my remainder right here. Let's look at this last one here. By the way, always check 2, 1, x is 0. That was fine. And we already checked that one. Okay, so x cubed minus 3x squared plus 5x minus 6. Okay, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's fine. X minus 2. And let me not make it look like a square root sign. Okay, so I need an x squared. So that would be negative 2x squared. That will be x cubed. Change the signs. That goes away. X squared, bring down the 5. Looks like I need an x. So negative 2x and x squared. Change your signs. Goes away. And we have 7x. Bring down that negative 6. So plus 7. So that will be negative 14. That will be 7x. Change your signs. Okay, this will be 8. Okay, so you could check x squared plus 7 times x minus 2 plus 8. Make sure it's the same thing as the inside. So that'll be x cubed minus 2x squared plus x squared minus 2x plus 7x minus 14 plus 8. So x cubed, let's see, minus x squared. See, now look here, we've got a problem right here because that should be coming out to negative 3. And I see the mistake right here. This should be a negative x. So let's go back to this step right here. Get rid of all this. Okay, so this should be, that goes away. And I get negative x squared. Bring down the plus 5x. Okay, so this should be negative x. Okay, so then I have positive 2x and then a negative x squared. Change the signs. That goes away, and I have 3x. Bring down the negative 6. So then that should be plus 3. Okay, so then 3 times negative 2, that's negative 6, and 3x. Change the signs. Okay, remainder 0. And again, we could check. Oops, that should be a negative. Plus 0 to make sure it's the same as the inside. So x cubed minus 2x squared, negative x squared plus 2x. Let's see. Plus 3x minus 6. So x cubed, add those two, negative 3x. Add those two, plus 5x minus 6. Okay, so that is the inside. Okay, so my final answer of x squared minus x plus 3, that should be a final answer. This is the quotient, and this is the remainder. It doesn't always have to be 0, as we saw in earlier examples. Okay, using the synthetic method, synthetic division is a shortcut that can be used when the divisor is a binomial in the form x minus k, where k is a real number. In synthetic division, only the coefficients are used in the division process. Okay, so it goes like this. We're going to turn this upside down. Oh, let me use the other one. And let me make it a little straighter than that. And let me make it a little bit longer. I'll get it here in a minute. There we go. RK is, notice how it's negative? RK is actually going to be a positive 3. It's opposite from it, what it is there. Now I'm just going to use 5. Make sure it goes in descending order. 2, 1, 0. That's fine. Okay, so 5, negative 3, negative 36. We're going to bring this 5 down. Take 3 times 5, 15, put it here. 15 minus 3 is 12. 3 times 12 is 36. And then 36 minus 36 is 0. Okay. Notice how this started at x squared. Well, now I'm going to start at x equals raised to 1, and this is going to be my constant. You could say x sub 0. So my answer would be 5x plus 12. That'd be my answer. And this right here would be the remainder. Let's do the same thing for this one as well. This will be 4, 10, negative 6, and negative 20. 3, 2, 1, 0. Notice how this is a positive 2, right? Negative 2. Bring this 4 down. And negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. 10 minus 8 is 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. A negative 7 plus negative 4 is negative 10. Negative 2 times negative 10 is a positive 20. Okay, and my remainder is 0. Notice how this started at x cubed, so this will start 1 less, so x squared, x1, x sub 0, so that's my constant. So my final answer is 4x squared plus 2x minus 10. And then we'll look at this one right here. Okay, so notice it's positive. We're going to need a negative. So 3, 1, 0. Hey, look at 4, 3, and then went to x. So negative 3 and 1. Bring down that 3. So a third times 3 is a negative 1. So that's 0. So this is 0. Which means this is 0. So negative 1/3 times 0, this will be 0. Hey, this will be negative 3. Negative 1/3 times negative 3, that will be a positive 1. So I have a remainder of 2. So this started at x sub 4. This is x sub 3, x sub 2, x sub 1, x sub 0, and this is my remainder. So my final answer is 3x cubed. I can skip these right here because they're zeros. Minus 3, and that's raised to 0, so that's just a constant. And then I have a remainder of 2 plus 2 over x plus 1/3. And that right there is my final answer.